Hey, everybody, welcome to another motivational morning. So, listen here. Last week, what ended up happening was I made a conscious decision to scale back on the burpee challenge. Now, you're probably wondering why. Was it too much? Was it painful? Did you give up? No, not really. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, I did a few scaling backs, so to speak. So this is actually what happened. After Friday, I realized, okay, you know what? Um, you have to listen to how your body's responding to certain things. And even though there is the philosophy, especially in working out, you can push to failure. That's only one way of exercising. You guys know that. But sometimes there is a moment when you have to take a break, not necessarily break your streak. Sometimes that's necessary too, and your body will break it. We talked about resting. I think that was the last part of our New You series where you just got to chill out sometimes. And so sometimes you do have to break your streak. But now this was more so just scaling back just a little bit so that I can get the rest that was necessary. So for those of you that don't know, Sundays when I begin the burpee challenge. This Sunday I was like, I'm just gonna relax. And then not only that, but I said I'm gonna start at 60 again. I technically should be at 62, 63 today, I believe. But I said, you know what? Start again at 60. Just start in a comfortable position, but not so comfortable. Like don't do 30. Do 60, because you already passed that milestone. You reached that benchmark. Now, what does this all have to do with making progress? Well, for those of you who already practice this, you know what that means, what that looks like. Whether if it's intermittent fasting, whether if it's taking a sabbatical from work, and I'm not just talking about a day. Some of us need to take a vacation. Maybe that's the better word. But if you look at John chapter 15 and verse 1 and 2, Jesus says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that it may be that it may bear more fruit. So there's this parallel, this comparison between taking away an entire branch that is sucking away energy, but it's not producing, and then just clipping away. There's a difference between breaking away, taking away, and then clipping away just enough so that there is now going to be room for those dead branches that weren't producing anything to now be cleared. And so the true you, the core branch, which is connected to the vine, can really grow. So there are probably some habits, there are some practices that you're doing that just needs a breather. I'm not talking about breaking your streak. We sometimes it's necessary, but I'm not talking about breaking a streak when you're really in in a groove. You have a momentum towards your progress. So for instance, don't break your streak when it comes to your devotional. Don't break your streak when it comes, like, there are core things that you need to do, eating breakfast, and those sort of things you don't want to break your streak on. But there are other things though, whether if it's, let's say, with exercising, just like what I had to do, where I realized, okay, you know what? I'm not going to break my streak, but I'm going to take it back just a little bit so I can get the rest. Do you guys know what happened? When I hit 60, it was tough, but it wasn't as tough as it was last week. Last week, I told you guys I was just out of breath, had to sit down. I was like, oh my goodness, almost kind of bewildered. Today, it was a little different. Today, we're talking about high intensity interval training, the HIIT, or maybe it's high interval intensity training, but it was tough, but it wasn't tough to the point of exhaustion where I couldn't just breathe and just feeling tingliness and all of that. That wasn't the case. So I think that there are those of you that are out there who really need to consider, what things do I need to just scale back on just a little bit. Here, I'll give you another one. My academic program is almost done, almost finished with the MBA. You guys know that. And there's a third party assessment that needs to be taken, but man, tests are very stressful. Exams, especially an exam that isn't even like connected to the well, it's connected, right? Because it deals with the accreditation of the school. But it's not required per se. Oh man. So I had to make a choice. Made a choice, and I decided, you know what? Not everything, not not every form of success is going to be shown on paper. What does that mean? So our professor actually said this is not for a grade. Um, but do your best and submit the certificate of completion. If you don't complete it, then it'll just be marked as an incomplete, but it's not going to count against your grade. Bing. Now, the old, not really academically competitive me would have been like, yeah. But the season has changed, right? So I'm in this space where I was killing every single class. We talk about 4.0 status, like we're getting at it. So for me, this now particular thing was, man, even though I don't have to do it, it's going to show that it wasn't done, even though my grade is going to be the same. And I had to make a choice. This weekend, I really wanted to be very relaxed. So I figured, you know what? It's okay. It's I'm not gonna get a grade for it. So I had to sit with that because I also know the amount of stress that it was gonna take to really have to go through just the preparation, especially over the last few weeks, and to work towards that. Listen, guys, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay. For those of you that are in school, sometimes it's okay. Not all the time now. My whole academic me would have been like, don't even worry about it. But because of the space that I'm in right now, I would tell you, not everything. Don't stress yourself over everything, especially if some of those things don't have a grade attached to it. Life is bigger than a grade. Now I can say this now. You know why? Because I got a 4.0. So I'm telling, life is bigger than a grade. If I had like maybe a 2.5, like, don't listen to me. But life is bigger than a grade, guys. So what I'm trying to say is this. There are some things that are necessary. Keep your streak, keep your habits going, build the momentum. I think a great book is Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect. Yeah. Keep it going. But then there are moments when you got to prune. Don't break it away. We looked at John 15 too. Don't break it away, but just prune just enough, because sometimes if you do one particular habit long enough, it starts to actually drain you versus just take a pause and then go back into it, and you'll break through the plateau. So that's for those of you who might be high achievers, those of you who are struggling with just what success might look like. Pause for a second. Pause for a day, relax, forget about it. Well, don't forget about it. Those of us, we can't forget about it. You got to pen it down, right? You got to write something down. I told you guys about the focus planner that I use, and then, deal with it for the next day. But the point is, don't stress over trying to tick off every single. Relax. Okay. So this isn't about relaxing though. Today is about pruning versus breaking away. So we know, especially those of us that are believers, you are connected to Christ, right? You are connected to God. And with that, there are things that He is going to prune away for you. Now we get into the spiritual side now. So yeah, for us practically, there might be some habits, there might be some even thoughts, even assignments, achievements, things that we have to take a pause from versus breaking from. But then there's some stuff that we have no control over. You already know my philosophical foundation deals with a transcendent being, somebody who's personable, somebody who's almighty, someone who is in control of this world. He just didn't create it and leave it. He created, and He's very much intimate with how we think, what we do, what we believe, all of that. So He is going to intercede sometimes and do some things. He is going to break some things away sometimes, and He was going to prune. And it would behoove us to be discerning on what He's actually just snipping away so that we can actually grow, and what He's breaking off so that His kingdom can actually grow too. So that's a whole nother side, guys. I don't know if you want to get into that, but the point is, if you ain't productive and if you are sabotaging His kingdom, He'll cut you out. But if there are habits and things that you just need to grow and to refine, He'll cut those out. So there's a difference between cutting a person off and cutting habits, or cutting, certain things out so that you can grow. I think it's the same thing for us in our social circles, same thing for us in our community. There perhaps may be some people that have been removed from your life, or people that you have to proactively remove from your life. There may be particular movies or videos or beverages, food. There may be certain things that you just need to nope, this is not going to work because it's sabotaging my kingdom. It's sabotaging where I live, my environment. So bye-bye. But there are then things that you don't need to fully remove. You just need to prune. You just need to tweak it just a little bit and say, I'm going to take a step back And then I'm gonna come back in. And when I come back in, I'm going to be stronger. So I said, if I'm gonna take this break, I'm not gonna take this break and jump back into the burpee challenge with hitting like 64, like 65. No, I have to humble myself. I took the break. So now I have to, in a sense, do just a little reset. Not a full one, just a reset. So do the same thing, guys. Okay. I'm just encouraging you to know the difference between when it's time to break away and when it's time to just prune, when it's time to snip away. And yes, the whole title is you got to give up to go up. So yeah, give up some time, give up some of that energy, just a little bit, so that you can break through the plateau. All right, guys. I hope that you will take this and you will use some of it, all of it, hopefully all of it, so that you can just break through the next plateau. Don't stress. Those of you that are high achievers, relax, take the pause, and then move forward. All right. I'll see y'all in the next motivational morning. Have a good Monday.